All right, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever casually tossed a penny aside, thinking, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that you might have thrown away a small fortune? That's right. There's a 2009 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny out there worth a jaw-dropping $2 million. And today, we're going to talk all about it. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car and found a bunch of old pennies under the seat. Crusty, dirty, probably been stepped on a few times. But instead of ignoring them, I decided to check them out. Turns out, I had a 1943 steel penny hiding in there, worth a couple $100. Since then, I always check my change, and let me tell you, you should too. Because that next penny you find could change your life. So, let's talk about this golden, copper ticket. The 2009 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln Bicentennial Penny, specifically the one with the professional life design. In 2009, the U.S. Mint released a series of 4 different Lincoln cents to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Honest Abe's birth. Each design represented a different phase of his life. There's the log cabin, young Lincoln studying, his professional life in Illinois, and finally, his presidency in Washington, D.C. But the one we're interested in today is the professional life design, showing a beardless Lincoln standing in front of the Illinois state capitol. Now, here's the kicker. Most of these pennies are worth, a penny. But a rare error version of this coin, with no mint mark and a unique die variety, has been valued at $2 million. This ultra-valuable penny has a specific die error that makes it incredibly rare. Some examples show doubling on Lincoln's features or the lettering, and some have a special composition difference. Most of these coins were minted in Philadelphia, which typically doesn't use a mint mark, but certain no-mint mark versions have been found with unique die characteristics that set them apart. If you happen to find one of these coins, don't go jingling it around in your pocket. Coins in uncirculated, high-grade condition fetch the highest prices. The Lincoln Cent series is one of the most beloved by collectors. And when a rare variety appears, the demand skyrockets. Now, how can you find one of these golden pennies? Start checking your change, look through old jars, and even consider grabbing some unsearched penny rolls from banks or estate sales. The key is to spot the rare details, so grab a magnifying glass and take a closer look. If you think you've got one, get it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC, and hey, let's talk about a collector who actually scored big. There's a story about a guy who found one of these rare 2009 pennies in his grandfather's coin collection. The poor guy almost spent it on a vending machine snack. Thankfully, he decided to check online first, got it graded, and boom, $2 million later, he's sitting pretty. Point 1. Never underestimate a penny. 2. Always check your change. And 3. If you've got a rare coin sitting in a jar somewhere, it could be worth way more than you think. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on another crazy valuable coin discovery. I'm here to help you find treasure in your pocket change and turn pennies into paydays. Hey, what's up, coin collectors? So, I gotta start this off by telling you about a coin that's probably gathering dust in someone's drawer right now, sitting there all lonely, probably in a random jar next to a bunch of outdated pennies and foreign coins you've collected over the years. But here's the thing, that little penny could be worth a ridiculous amount of money. No joke. I'm talking about the 1961 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Seriously. Yes, my friend, a penny. And no, you don't need a treasure map or to become a coin-hunting archaeologist to find it. You just need to check your pockets, that old coin jar, or even your grandma's coin collection she keeps in the back of her closet. In today's video, we're diving into why this particular penny is so valuable, what makes it stand out from the rest, and how you could potentially turn that dusty old coin into a small fortune. So, stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be digging through your drawers looking for a 1961 D to send to the bank. First off, let's get on the same page about what the 1961 D. Abraham Lincoln penny even is. This penny, just like any other, has Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic wheat ears on the back. So, at first glance, it might look like any old penny you'd come across in a jar at the back of your desk. This penny was minted in 1961 with a D mint mark, which stands for Denver, the location where the coin was made. It was the year right before the U.S. Treasury switched over to using the memorial design on the back of pennies, which, if you're not familiar, is the one with the Lincoln Memorial, which has become the standard design we all know today, the 1961 Penny is one of the last few coins before that switch, which is a big deal in the coin collecting world. The whole wheat penny design is a bit more nostalgic and rare now, so people who are into coins have a soft spot for these. But here's the crazy part. The value of this penny today is not based solely on the fact that it's a wheat penny or that it was made in Denver. There's actually something a little more special about this one that pushes its value to $1.90 million. Here's where things get interesting. You see, not all 1961 pennies are worth millions. Heck, most of them are still worth only a couple of cents, maybe 5 or 10 cents at best. But there's a specific variation of the 1961 penny that has some rare characteristics that make it extremely valuable. What happened here is something called die clashing. This is when the obverse, that's the front with Lincoln's face, and the reverse, the back with the wheat stalks, accidentally strike each other during the minting process. Imagine the coin press not lining up properly and smushing the front and back of the coin together in the wrong way. The result? A weird, but incredibly rare design flaw that creates a double image of the wheat stalks on the front of the coin. It's one of those oops moments that actually turns out to be the best thing ever for collectors. Now, for a collector, a mistake like this is gold. Not literally, of course, but close enough. That little error makes this penny one of the most sought-after versions of the 1961 out there. And let's be clear, only a small handful of these error coins are still floating around. So if you've got one, or you manage to find one, you could be looking at a payday that'll make your wildest dreams come true. Let me tell you, finding one of these pennies isn't exactly like finding a needle in a haystack. It's more like finding a needle that somehow made its way into the haystack and then somehow, miraculously, managed to stay on the haystack's surface without being lost forever. It's tough, but not impossible. You know, speaking of finding rare coins, I remember when I first started getting into collecting. I was about 14 years old, and I thought I'd struck it rich when I found a coin in my grandpa's old box of junk. It was a 1943 steel penny. I got so excited thinking I had just found something worth a fortune. I looked up the value online and realized it was worth about 10 cents, which was a huge letdown for a kid hoping to buy a new bike with my coin fortune. But the cool part was that experience got me hooked on collecting. It's kind of like fishing. You don't always catch the big one, but the thrill of the chase is half the fun. The 1961 Abraham Lincoln penny could be sitting in your collection right now, and you wouldn't even know it. It's proof that sometimes the most valuable things are hidden in plain sight. The next time you find yourself cleaning out a drawer or flipping through an old jar of pennies, you might just want to take a second look at that 1961 before you toss it aside. Who knows? That little penny could be worth $1.90 million now. I know this is a lot of info to digest, but don't worry. I'm here to guide you through every step of your coin hunting journey. If you want more tips, strategies, and insider info on valuable coins you can find, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join the community of fellow collectors who are on the hunt for hidden treasures just like this one. If you found this video useful, drop a comment below and let me know if you've ever found any cool coins. I'd love to hear your stories. When it comes to coins, you never know when you might stumble upon the next big one. Hey, fellow coin collectors and enthusiasts. You ever find yourself staring at your coin jar, hoping for that one rare gem to pop out and make you a fortune? I know I have. I mean, we've all seen those crazy stories of someone finding a coin worth millions, and I'm here to tell you it's not just a myth. You can really make bank from coins you might already have laying around. Case in point, the 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yup, that little guy could be worth a jaw-dropping $3 million. And no, I'm not joking. Stick around, because today, we're diving into why this penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and what you can do if you find one. All right, so let's break this down. The 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those coins that has everyone in the collecting world buzzing. You might be thinking, wait, a penny? Isn't it just pocket change? Well, yeah, most pennies are just, pennies. But this one's special. You see, most pennies made in 1967 have a mint mark, but some were made without one. And that tiny, missing mint mark? That's what makes all the difference. You've got to understand that in the coin world, tiny details matter. The mint mark, those little letters you see under Abraham Lincoln's shoulder, indicates which U.S. mint produced the coin. For the 1967 penny, it's typically either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But some pennies didn't get that mint mark at all. And if you've got one of those, you might just have yourself $1 million coin in your hands. Now, let me tell you a little story to put things into perspective. A few years back, I was going through an old coin collection that I inherited from my granddad. I remember thinking, sure, these are all nice coins, but none of them are gonna make me rich. I mean, you can only stare at so many 1970s quarters before they start looking like, well, 1970s quarters, right? But then, I stumbled upon a 1967 penny in that pile. At first glance, I thought, it's just a penny, who cares? But something about it seemed a little off. The lack of a mint mark caught my eye. I wasn't sure what I had, so I did what any curious person would do. I Googled it. And boom, I found out that I was holding something worth serious cash. I'll be honest, it took me a minute to digest the info. $3 million for a penny? That's not something you hear every day. Well, rarity is a huge factor. There are only a few of these 1967 no mint mark pennies known to exist, and they are incredibly hard to find. Plus, they're in high demand among collectors. As with most rare items, the less there are, the higher the price tag. That's why these coins are so valuable, and that's why, if you find one, you're in for a very lucrative surprise. Now, how can you spot one of these bad boys? First, take a look at your 1967 pennies. If there's no mint mark under Lincoln's shoulder, you've got a potential winner. But not all no mint mark pennies are created equal. The condition of the coin matters a lot too. If it's in perfect shape, or at least in pretty decent condition, that's where the big money comes in. A worn-out penny might still have some value, but it won't reach the $3 million mark. When you find a penny like this, don't just toss it in a drawer and forget about it. Get it checked out by a professional. You might have something more valuable than you realize. And trust me, a coin dealer or grading service can tell you exactly how much your penny is worth and whether it's in good enough condition to fetch top dollar. So, what can we take away from all this? Well, first of all, don't overlook your coins. You never know when you might have a little treasure hiding in your pocket change. The 1967 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is just one example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can turn into a small fortune. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting, remember that coin collecting is about more than just collecting. It's about learning, discovering, and having fun along the way. Now, if you've enjoyed hearing about this $3 million penny, trust me, you won't want to miss out on future tips and strategies on coins worth money. I've got plenty more hidden treasures to share, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn how to make some serious cash from your coin collection. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin, drop a comment below and share your story. I'd love to hear it. Who knows, maybe your discovery will be the next big one I talk about in a future video. Thanks for watching and happy hunting, folks. Keep your eyes peeled, because your next big find could be just around the corner. All right, folks, buckle up because I'm about to take you on a trip down memory lane that could make you a lot of money. Imagine this. You're digging around in an old jar of coins, and you pull out a penny. Now, it's not just any penny. This is a 1949 wheat penny, and guess what? It's worth a staggering $3.1 million. No, I'm not joking. This isn't some rare fantasy coin. This is real. Stick around because I'm going to break down why this little penny could make you richer than a lot of people ever dream of. So, here we are, talking about the 1949 wheat penny with no mint mark. But let's start with a little background first, just so you know where this shiny little coin fits in the big picture of American history. The wheat penny was first minted in 1909 to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. You've probably seen them. They have those iconic wheat stalks on the back and, of course, good old Abe himself on the front. Now, for a coin that's been around for more than a century, you'd think there'd be a dime a dozen, right? Well, not exactly. It turns out, the 1949 wheat penny, especially the ones with no mint mark, are incredibly rare. Mint marks are the little letters on a coin that tell you where it was made. If there's no mint mark, it means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, where most coins are produced. But in 1949, the mint did something strange. Some of the wheat pennies were made without a mint mark, and that's exactly what makes the 1949 no mint mark penny so valuable. It's a little quirk of history that collectors went crazy over, and now they're willing to pay top dollar for these rare coins. Okay, but $3.1 million? That's a lot of cheddar for a little penny, right? Let's dive into why it's worth so much. The value of a coin is determined by a lot of things: rarity, demand, condition, and historical significance. The 1949 no mint mark penny checks all these boxes. First, it's rare. The 1949 wheat penny was minted in large numbers, but only a small fraction of those have the no mint mark feature. You're talking about a coin that was produced during a period where a minting error, whether intentional or not, wasn't exactly common. This means there's a limited supply of these coins, and when something is rare, well, you know the rest. Second, it's in demand. Coin collectors are like treasure hunters. They don't just collect coins because they look shiny. They're looking for those gems that no one else has. And when a coin like the 1949 no mint mark penny pops up, collectors go wild for it. You've got people bidding against each other like it's the last piece of pizza at a party. The demand is real, and that keeps the prices sky high. Now, let's talk about the condition. You've probably heard the phrase, condition is everything in the world of collecting, and it's true here as well. If you happen to find a 1949 wheat penny that's been well preserved, let's say it looks like it just came off the minting press yesterday, then you're in the big leagues. A coin in perfect condition, graded at MS 67, that's mint state 67, if you're wondering, could be worth every penny of that $3.10 million. And don't forget, these coins carry historical significance. The late 1940s were a time of recovery after World War II, and that gives these coins an additional layer of value. They're like little time capsules of American history. If you ever held one in your hand, you'd feel the weight of history in your palm. Now, I've got a little story to share. It was a few years back, and I was at a garage sale. Yeah, one of those spots where you expect to find old records, mismatched chairs, and maybe some creepy dolls. But, lo and behold, I spotted a jar full of pennies. It was like a scene from a movie, where the camera zooms in and the music gets all dramatic. I pulled out a couple, did a quick inspection, and there it was, my very first 1949 wheat penny with no mint mark. I couldn't believe it. My heart was racing, and I was thinking, could this be the one? Unfortunately, it wasn't in pristine condition, but I'll tell you, it was a wake-up call. That day I realized just how much hidden treasure could be lying around in places you'd never expect. It's that kind of discovery that reminds you. Coins can be more than just pocket change. They can be wealth in disguise. If you're lucky enough to find a coin like the 1949 no mint mark penny, you're holding something that could change your life. Well, you can't just walk into a store and pick up one of these rare coins like it's a pack of gum. Finding one takes patience, dedication, and a bit of luck. You'll need to keep an eye on coin auctions, estate sales, and maybe even online marketplaces. And when you do find one, get it professionally graded to know exactly how much it's worth. If you find yourself with a 1949 wheat penny and there's no mint mark on it, you could be sitting on a gold mine worth $3.1 million. It's one of those crazy stories in the world of coin collecting that makes you believe in serendipity. But remember, not all pennies are created equal. Condition matters, rarity matters, and, of course, doing your research matters. If you're excited about the idea of finding a coin that could make you a small fortune, then you're in the right place. I'll be here to share more tips, tricks, and strategies to help you find those rare coins that could make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more valuable coin tips, because who knows, your next big find might be just a coin toss away. Hey there, coin lovers. Imagine this. You're digging through a jar of pennies, minding your own business, when suddenly, you stumble upon a 1973 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. It's not just any old penny. This little coin could be worth $3.2 million. What kind of sorcery is this? But trust me, this is the real deal. And today we're going to dive deep into why this penny could turn you into a coin collector millionaire. Now, I get it. You're probably sitting there wondering how on earth a penny from 1973 could be worth that much, and why this specific coin is causing such a stir in the numismatic world. Well, buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know why that penny could be worth a small fortune, but also how to spot valuable coins hiding in your alright. So let's break down why the 1973 D. Abraham Lincoln penny is the one you want to keep an eye out for. The 1973 D. penny is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial Series, which was minted from 1959 all the way until 2008. These pennies are made of copper-plated zinc, and, in general, they're not the most valuable coins you'll come across. That's where things get interesting. You see, this penny, in particular, has a rarity factor. Minted at the Denver Mint, that's where the D mint mark comes in. This coin is part of a batch that had some serious quality control issues. A small number of these 1973 D pennies were struck with a very subtle error, something called a double die or, in some cases, a reverse die error. Essentially, these errors are caused when the coin is struck more than once during the minting process, giving it some very noticeable and valuable features. Now, not all 1973 D pennies are worth a fortune, far from it. The ones with the errors, the double strikes, or those that were exceptionally well preserved over the years are the ones that catch the eye of collectors. We're talking about a coin that is incredibly rare in terms of condition, and that's what drives up its market value to a staggering $3.20 million. You don't just need to be lucky to find one of these coins. With some careful searching and a little bit of knowledge, you can drastically increase your chances of finding these hidden gems. I'll get into some tips on how to identify them in a minute, but first, let me share a little story from my own experience. A few years ago, I was at a coin show, just browsing and chatting with other collectors, when I met this old guy who had a whole suitcase full of pennies. I'm talking literally hundreds of them, stacked in rolls. His whole life's work was wrapped up in this suitcase, and he was convinced that he had a bunch of rare pennies in there. I mean, the dude looked like he had an entire museum in his collection. So, like any smart person would do, I took a glance and found one penny that caught my attention, a 1973 D Lincoln penny, sitting there right in the middle of all the others. Of course, I had to take a closer look. And guess what? It wasn't just any 1973 D penny. It had that telltale double die error, where you could clearly see the doubled letters and the doubled Lincoln image. I couldn't believe my eyes. But here's the thing. This guy had no idea it was worth anything more than a penny. He was ready to part with it for a few bucks. Can you imagine? I had to do my best to keep my poker face while negotiating, but I got that penny for an absolute steal. And that, my friends, is the real lesson here. Sometimes, the most valuable coins are hiding in plain sight, and if you're not paying attention, you could miss a gold mine without even realizing it. Just like that old guy with his suitcase of pennies, many people overlook the real value in their collections. Now that you've got the basics, let's talk about how to spot one of these bad boys. This is the most common and valuable error for the 1973 D penny. Look closely at Lincoln's image and the inscriptions on the coin. If you see any doubling, like the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust, you've got yourself a potential jackpot. Double die errors can be hard to spot with the naked eye, so grab a magnifying glass or a loupe. Like with any coin, the better the condition, the more it's worth. A penny that's been through a few decades of circulation will show wear, but the best examples of the 1973 D penny are in pristine condition, basically as close to mint condition as possible. If you find one that's been kept in a safe place all these years and shows minimal signs of wear, you're looking at a much higher value. It's not just about the coin's condition, it's about how many are left in good condition. The 1973 D penny, while rare, isn't the only penny collectors are after, so it's important to understand the market trends. Even a rare coin needs to be in demand to fetch top dollar. Keep an eye on auctions and the online marketplace to get a feel for its current value. So, whether you're scouring the bottom of your coin jar or checking out estate sales, always keep an eye out for these rarities. Trust me, you won't regret it when you stumble upon a 1973 D penny worth millions. If you've got a 1973 D Lincoln penny tucked away in your collection, or if you find one while doing some digging, you could be sitting on a gold mine. A coin worth $3.2 million is no small change, pun intended, and with a little bit of knowledge and patience, you could be the next big success story in the world of rare coin hunting. But hey, it's not just about finding a fortune. It's about learning how to spot those hidden treasures and appreciating the history and value behind every coin. And the best part? This journey never stops. There's always something new to discover in the world of coins. So, if you want more tips and tricks on how to find coins worth money, strategies for building your collection, or just want to hear more crazy stories like mine, hit that subscribe button right now. Don't miss out on the chance to turn your coin collection into something truly valuable. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Picture this. You're going through your change jar one night, just like I was, mindlessly tossing coins into a cup when something shiny catches your eye. It's an old penny, maybe a little worn, but nothing that stands out, right? But then, you flip it over and notice it's a 1966 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, here's the kicker. This little copper disc could be worth a hey there, coin enthusiasts. Picture this. You're going through your change jar one night, just like I was, mindlessly tossing coins into a cup when something shiny catches your eye. It's an old penny, maybe a little worn, but nothing that stands out, right? But then, you You flip it over and notice it's a 1966 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, here's the kicker. This little copper disc could be worth a whopping $3.3 million. No, I'm not kidding. You might think, a penny? Worth that much? Surely this guy's lost his mind. Well, sit tight, because I'm about to show you how this little coin isn't just some old, forgotten piece of pocket change. By the end of this video, you might just start looking at your spare change a whole lot differently. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for the full ride. You never know. That old penny hiding in the back of your drawer could be worth more than your car, body. All right, let's break this down. So, you've got your hands on a 1966 penny. It's the middle of the 1960s, a time of rock and roll, flower power, and a whole lot of change in the world. And I'm not just talking about money. But here's the thing. This specific coin, the 1966 penny, has something a little extra that makes it a true treasure for collectors. It's got no mint mark. Now, most pennies, or any coins for that matter, have a mint mark that tells you where they were made. For pennies in 1966, they were typically minted either in Philadelphia, no mint mark, or Denver with a D mint mark. So when you find a 1966 penny with no mint mark, you're looking at a very rare specimen. And by rare, I mean really rare. Let me tell you a personal story. I remember a few years back, I was rummaging through my coin collection when I came across a 1966 penny that I didn't really pay much attention to. You know how it goes. You get a bunch of pennies over the years and toss them in a drawer without thinking. But this one caught my eye. I thought, wait, something's different. I took a closer look, flipped it over, and bam, no mint mark. I didn't know what it was worth back then, but I remember thinking, hey, it's gotta be something, right? Fast forward a few months later, and I found out that this same coin could have been worth millions. Let's just say I learned my lesson the hard way. But here's the good news. Unlike me, you're watching this video and learning exactly what makes this penny so valuable and how you can avoid making the same mistake I did. So, what makes the 1966 no mint mark penny so valuable? For starters, it's all about scarcity. Pennies from the era were mostly produced with a mint mark, the D for Denver, so the no mint mark variety is incredibly rare. The rarity drives up the price, and for coins in that kind of condition, we're talking some serious money. If you take a close look at the specifics of the coin, you'll find that it's got all the hallmarks of a solid collector's piece: the right age, the right condition, and, of course, that no mint mark twist. But here's the kicker. It's not just any 1966 penny. It's one of the few out there that's survived decades in near pristine condition. And now, let's talk about condition. The 1966 penny that fetched $3.3 million wasn't just any old coin. It was a gem. We're talking about a coin that looks like it just came out of the mint, with minimal wear and tear. The better the condition, the higher the value. So, if you're lucky enough to have one of these in your collection, make sure you're storing it properly. A little scratch or discoloration could significantly drop the value. But wait, there's more. You might be asking, how in the world can a coin be worth millions of dollars? Well, let me tell you, the world of coin collecting is a lot like the stock market. Things go up, things go down, but the really rare stuff always has a market. Just like fine art, rare coins are valuable because there's only a limited number of them. And when a collector wants a specific coin and they can't find it, they'll pay top dollar to get it. This 1966 penny with no mint mark is one of those elusive treasures that collectors drool over. So, if you find one in good condition, well, let's just say you're holding a winning ticket. And here's something that's pretty wild. The whole no mint mark issue wasn't even noticed by the public at first. It wasn't until a few eagle-eyed collectors spotted it that the coin's true value came to light. But this doesn't mean every 1966 penny you find is worth millions. A lot of factors come into play: condition, rarity, and even demand from collectors. So, while the $3.3 million price tag is certainly eye-catching, don't start going through your loose change thinking every 1966 penny is going to make you rich. If only it were that easy. Conclusion. So, what does this all mean for you? Well, the next time you're sitting on your couch, watching TV, and feeling like you've got nothing to do, take a second to go through that change jar you've been neglecting. You never know what might be hiding in there. Maybe it's a 1966 penny with no mint mark. Maybe it's a coin that could change your life, or at least put a nice chunk of change in your pocket. If there's one thing I've learned from my own mistakes, it's that you've got to pay attention to your coins. And, hey, if you find something cool, don't just toss it aside. Do some research. you might have a little hidden gem right under your nose. Hey there, fellow coin collectors. Have you ever stumbled upon a coin in your pocket change that made you do a double take? Maybe you thought, this has to be worth something, right? Well, guess what? I've got a story for you that's going to blow your mind, and it all starts with a 1985 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right, a penny, worth a whopping $3.4 million. Now, you might be thinking, a penny? Really? But hang tight. I'm about to walk you through the incredible story of this seemingly ordinary coin and how it can make you a mint in the world of coin collecting. So grab your magnifying glass. Because today we're diving deep into one of the most amazing finds in the world of rare coins. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be inspecting your pocket change like a professional. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins. All right, let's rewind the clock a bit. The 1985 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. What's the deal with that? Well, for those of you who might not know, pennies are typically minted in one of two places in the United States, Philadelphia or Denver. The mint mark, a tiny letter D or P, tells you where the coin was made. But here's the kicker, the 1985 penny, produced in Philadelphia, has no mint mark. And normally, that's no big deal. I mean, they produce millions of pennies every year, right? So why should this one be special? Now, let me tell you, finding a 1985 penny without a mint mark is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's an anomaly, a mistake, even. You see, sometimes, when the minting process is rushed or something goes wrong, a few coins slip through the cracks without their proper mint marks. And it's these rare, tiny mistakes that can be worth a ton of cash, because collectors love a good error. But here's where things get crazy. A 1985 no-mint mark penny in perfect condition can fetch up to $3.4 million. I know, it's insane. But stick with me, this isn't just a fairy tale. I remember the first time I found a coin that I thought might be valuable. It was a 1940s penny, and I thought, hey, maybe this is the one. I wasn't anywhere near a $3.4 million discovery, but it got me hooked. I spent hours researching, learning about the market, and finding out what to look for. And let me tell you, the excitement when I first realized how much some of these coins could be worth was almost as big as winning the lottery. That feeling of holding something in your hand that could potentially change your life, whether it's a penny or a dollar, well, that's what makes coin collecting so thrilling. And the 1985 no-mint mark penny is the perfect example of that. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'll check my change, but how can I be sure I've got one of these elusive coins? Great question. Here's the trick. First off, you've got to check for that mint mark. If there's no D or P, then you've got yourself a candidate. Next, you need to examine the condition of the coin. A penny that's been sitting around in your pocket for 30+ years might be a bit worn down, but if you've got one in near mint condition, that's where the real value comes in. The clearer the details, the higher the price tag. And don't forget to look for other markers, things like the color, wear patterns, and the general strike quality. Even small imperfections can increase a coin's value, so it's worth it to get familiar with the different grading systems. Trust me, I've spent hours poring over details, and it's totally worth it when you realize the value of what you've got. The 1985 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, worth $3.4 million. It's a reminder that sometimes the things we overlook in our everyday lives can actually be gold mines. And while not every coin in your change jar is going to make you rich, knowing what to look for is the first step toward building a valuable collection. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, man, I need to start checking my pennies, I totally get it. I was in the same boat when I first started, and I promise, this is just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to keep learning about coins worth money, strategies for finding rare collectibles, and all the tips and tricks you need to become a coin collecting pro, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on all the awesome content I've got lined up. And remember, the next time you're at the store or going through your spare change, take a second to look at your pennies. You never know when you might find the next big thing. Stay lucky, stay curious, and keep those coins coming. Hey, guys, let me take you back to 1965, the year that changed a lot of things. You know, the Beatles were taking over the world, Vietnam was heating up, and you were probably still rocking out to that one tune on the radio. But guess what? In the midst of all this, a coin came into existence that would be worth more than you ever imagined. And no, it's not one of those weird foreign coins you've got hiding in your drawer. We're talking about the 1965 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, you're probably thinking, A penny? Worth $3.5 million? Yeah, right? But trust me, I'm not pulling your leg. Stick around because I'm going to break down how this seemingly ordinary penny could be hiding in your collection or even in your pocket right now. You're going to want to know the details, and by the end of this video, you might just start checking your change more carefully. All right, let's dive into this. First off, what makes this penny so special? I mean, we all know pennies, right? They're those little copper-colored things that seem to pile up in the bottom of your junk drawer. But the 1965 no mint mark penny? This one's different. This penny's got the potential to put your grandkids through college. But how? Let me take you back to 1965. The US Mint made a major decision that year. They decided to stop putting mint marks on some of the coins, including the pennies. So, for a few years, a whole bunch of pennies didn't have the little D for Denver or S for San Francisco that would typically indicate where they were minted. And that, my friend, is where the magic happens. The 1965 penny, in particular, was minted in Philadelphia. It didn't get the P mint mark like most other Philly pennies, so it didn't stand out at first. But over the years, people realized that these no mint mark pennies were rarer than they seemed. Not a ton of them were made, and they were mostly overlooked, forgotten, or lost in the shuffle. Fast forward a few decades, and now they've become one of the most sought-after coins for collectors. Today, a 1965 no mint mark penny could go for up to $3.5 million at auction. Yes, that's right, million. Who knew those little copper coins that we've all dropped or ignored could hold such insane value? But here's the thing. It's not like you'll just find one of these pennies lying around on the sidewalk. There are certain things to look for. You'll want to check the condition of the coin. The better the shape, the higher the value. A penny with minimal wear and tear could really rake in the cash. But even if it's a little beat up, if it's one of the rare ones, it could still fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. Now, let me tell you a little story. A while ago, I was at a coin show, minding my own business, just flipping through some coins. You know, doing the usual, checking for any gems hidden in the bunch. And then it hit me. I remembered hearing about the 1965 no mint mark penny and thought, I've got to look at my old collection again. So, I start going through my pennies, and of course, I come across a couple that caught my eye. But after hours of checking and squinting at these pennies, I didn't find the holy grail. I found some cool coins, but number 1965 no mint mark at the time, I was a little disappointed, but it made me realize just how crazy the world of coin collecting is. One coin can change everything. One little penny can be worth a house. So, I didn't let that stop me. I kept searching, learning, and educating myself. And I want to pass that on to you. Whether it's a penny, quarter, or even a dime, there's always the chance that you're sitting on something worth a fortune. The 1965 no mint mark penny might just be the jackpot coin you didn't know you were looking for. And it's not just about the money, it's about the thrill of the hunt. Coin collecting is like treasure hunting, and every time you check your change, you're one step closer to finding your own hidden gems. Now, if you want more tips like this, I've got plenty more coin strategies and cool stories to share. Don't miss out on the chance to stay ahead in the coin game. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and stay tuned for more videos where we uncover coins worth a ton of money. You never know, your next coin could be worth millions, and I'm here to help you find it.